The birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution from Cowork 591 Studios. We are the Bohemian Reformation. This is the Steve Brown Art Center Podcast Network with producer Blake Tempus down there, direct off the Dean's List, and co-host Dale Rueber, direct out of the barber shop.
That's right.
I am Jim Gillespie, and this is the Jesup News for July 1st, 2024. Share this podcast with your friends. The numbers are up again, gentlemen. Well
really?
done.
All
the
right.
numbers have went back up again. Thanks first off to Blake putting it on Facebook about the issues with Thomas James and the like.
He's counting by twos now, too, isn't he? Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. Also, thanks to the young ladies that were on last week, and Fritz being on last week. Those numbers help.
Well, it's nothing like having young girls on your show. I mean,
it is. It is. Tonight, Dale brings, they say issues come in three. Dale brings three issues. We talk about the Devil Ants Hatfield, of the Hatfield and McCoys. We wrap up Farmers Day. We talk about should artists be paid. We look at Jesup News. We look at the up-and-coming Littleton Free Watermelon Day. We are 27 days away, actually, from the day this comes out. And we give our weekly update. We look at the Steve Brown Art Center and how it's doing. Don't forget the Steve Brown Art Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has a vision for artists, young and old alike, to have the opportunity to better themselves while helping to build the skills of those around them. The long-range vision, if rent and housing costs ever go down, is to house a rural artist residency program for professional and emerging artists in all areas of the arts and the humanities. Artists will be offered accommodations and studio space in exchange for a contribution of labor and maintenance of the buildings and the grounds. We may have to start a Choctaw bingo game to raise a little bit of money and so that we can rent a house, Dale.
I suppose.
Yeah. So
prices are going up on land.
Oh, boy,
it's really unbelievable. And we went to a wills and whether you should have a will or a trust meeting just yesterday, and they had this number that was a limit. If you were under that limit, you didn't have to go through so many hoops, but because of the housing increased prices, we have to go through the hoops now, so we're upset because our house is worth more. But
I understand.
Did you have a will?
I do.
Okay, good for you.
I do.
Good for you.
I made it real hard for John Peters when I went and had him do it. I believe there are 52 people on my will.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I made it real hard.
Well, Dan Fox and his wife Mary were there, and we both have the same wish: turn everything into cash, divide it by 3. And the lawyer said, "Well, that's a real simple will. Shouldn't be any problem with that."
Oh, good for you. That is a good idea.
So,
that is a great idea. Dale, let's start with you. Let's talk first about Farmers Day. I know you had some things to talk about on Farmers Day.
Okay, well, Farmers Day I think went pretty well. We had some people complain about the carnival, that it wasn't, up to snuff, but all we can say is, well, it was either this carnival or no carnival, because this is, and we've been through all this with the 4th of July and Clear Lake in the carnival problem of scheduling, but we did the best we could with that, and I could see the swings from where I were at they have the swings go around, and they were busy all the time, so as far as I know, it was pretty well accepted by most people, but some people felt that there weren't enough for their particular age level of child, and we're sorry, you try to have something for everybody, that just doesn't always work.
You don't owe an apology. There, how many years does that issue come up, Dale?
Oh, 4 or 5. It's where if the 4th of July falls towards the end of the week, they're contracted to be in Clear Lake the 4th of July and the 5th always. And
right.
So the 6th they would have to move and then set up, and so they'd be ready, if it was like 7th, 8th, or 9th or whatever that weekend for Farmers Day. But if the 4th of July is like on Thursday or Friday, then for them it doesn't pay. They just go to the place which is after Jesup, and skip Jesup because it just doesn't work out.
Right.
So,
right.
It's just part of the deal. But we hope, I think they're supposed to be lined up so and leap year doesn't help either when when that could. But anyway, they're supposed to be lined up where they're coming next year. Alan, he said they always end up in Decorah sometime, and he's going to go up and talk to the guy and make sure we're solid.
Right.
So, because that sort of thing. And so we thought we had some good food booths this year and excellent food, and we had everything except the chili parlor. It was quite the thing. The carnival guys they went to Mr. Miller, he had the barbecue thing, and he said they gave him a lot of business. They said they never had such good food at a celebration like this. Usually it's hot dogs and this sort of thing, and we had those ribs and macaroni and cheese with the pulled pork and all those fancy things that were really good. And so the Scouts had that kind of stuff too, and the Lions Club, then they kind of go with the broad and the bigger hot dog if you wanted something along that line. And so there was a nice variety, and I did not get down to St. A's booth, I'm sorry to say, so I don't know what kind of stuff they were serving.
Well, I tell you, the Steve Brown Arts Center was set up right between the Millers and Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster.
Yeah.
And started in the morning. The Millers gave me some pulled pork that they had barbecued all night, and they were kind enough to give me some pulled pork. And then right away, Mickey D's gave me a piece of pizza. When I got there. That's the unique thing about the Farmer's Day is you can't lose any weight there.
No, Mike Farrell that runs Mickey D's, he always, the last 2 years, he has sent a whole pizza over to Alan Wright, and Alan usually shares it with us, and it's really very good.
Yes,
it's very good. I actually bought some this year, so it's quite good. So the food booths we were real happy with, and of course the beer garden paid for things, and we went through a lot of cups. You go through 4,000 cups or whatever, $5 a cup. Well, that's does quite a bit to help keep Farmers Day going. And the entertainment, we had a nice crowd for almost everything, and we were supposed Friday afternoon, like 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, just a dead time. And we have tried like game time and kids games and game shows. We paid him a lot of money to come in and do different kinds of game shows, and nothing. I mean, nobody showed up, and it wasn't the guys' fault, just nobody came. And so it was really, but this year we had professional wrestling, from And so they came in, and Alan wanted them up on the stage. We put the ring on the stage, and the guy said, well, there's one wrestler who weighs 500 pounds, and they throw him down on the floor, and so you may not want a hole in your stage up there. And he was going to support it. Okay, so they set it up in front, and it's very sturdy. Big log chains holding the legs together and this kind of thing underneath. But that's the best Friday afternoon crowd I think I've ever seen.
Oh, awesome.
There were a lot of people came to see that, and so and it was kind of fun to because it's a tremendous amount of overacting, and guys, and you hit me in the chest and stop, and I go like this, and it sounds like you smacked me a good one, and this sort of thing, and so it was a lot of fun. So,
at what point in your life, Dale, did you realize professional wrestling was a show?
Yeah, I was pretty young, I think, because they used to do it live on Channel 7, 10:30 Sunday nights, right? And they would have it. I think they did it in their own studios there in Waterloo. It was alive, and it didn't take too long to realize that nobody could get clubbed like that and then turn around and beat the crap out of the guy that was clubbing that. When you see someone in real life get hit in the mouth and their jaw is broken and their hand that the guy that hit him is broken, and you think, well, so it didn't take too long, but it still was a lot of fun. And plus you'd see these holes, these submission holes, you think, well, why does that hurt so much? It shouldn't hurt so much. But the guy pounding. So,
sometimes you watch those people and it's like they're dancing with the dead at the pyramid or something. It's rather unique.
It's really something. Yeah. So the parade, of course, we got a lot of water on the parade. It rained really hard during the parade, but people, days kept on going. And I would tell you, for the future reference, if you have candy and it's raining, I would not throw the candy because it just made a mess in the street. It just really, because those wrappers are not waterproof. And if you've had your little kid doesn't want to be eating candy, he's been soaking in the mud puddle for a while, I don't think so. but the kids still wanted them. So, but
I know they asked people to walk along the parade route and hand things out.
Yeah.
Did they do that? Did a lot of people do that?
no. Well, some people do. Yeah, some have outriders like with the buckets of candy, but most you'll throw it.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. So, but the parade went pretty well. My barbershop thing didn't get much publicity. So the first time I had 4 people. And 2 of my real good friends, Howard and Monica, they showed up. And then there's another couple, and the man is Smith. His mother's my first cousin. So, so he was related. Second time with anybody there. And then the third time, the last time, there were 11 people, but there was my wife, my son, my daughter-in-law, my 2 grandsons, Ralph and Carol Jones. Dawn, my dear, lovely neighbor, Dawn Quackenbush, came and she brought 2 of her relatives. And then Mrs. Parker was there also, and I'm probably forgetting somebody, but there were 11. So that one went pretty well. That was, he had somebody to talk to. And then must have been all right, because Mrs. Parker called me today and signed me up for October to talk to one of her organizations about Jesup history. So.
Well, and don't let me forget, Dale, I have a gift for you to give to Mrs. Parker.
Oh, okay.
It's an antique gift from the old the Parker Funeral Home, Parker
Furniture store.
I don't know if most people realize this. In towns like Jesup, Cresco, the owners of the furniture store used to make the cask and build the caskets.
Yeah.
And so that's why
they got into business.
Yeah.
Because Hintz Furniture in Old Wine also had Hintz Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was very common for someone to have a store downtown and also be the undertaker, the funeral director,
right.
whatever they call it nowadays. But the more polite thing is probably funeral director rather than undertaker. But who takes you under? John White does. So I don't. All in all, you never know until you get the money in to see financially. But we think we did all right. So it was a tough Farmers Day to put on for some reason. We're going to leave we have the street down here on Parker's Lot put up. We're going to leave that up a few weeks. People have been coming, even from other towns, to get like class pictures or their senior picture or something taken in front of some of those.
Cool.
And so we're going to leave those up for a while. Mm-hmm. So if and it does kind of add something.
It does.
A lot of people stop just to look at those, and so they didn't want to talk to the barber. They just want to look at the at the town. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So we're real happy with Farmers Day, and I want you to know I was up setting up. I'm the assistant parade guy. Jim McCarty is the parade guy, and I help him. And there were 2 people running for board of supervisors in the parade, and I collared both of them about paving the road out to the cemetery. Both of them thought that'd be a great idea. So too bad though they're both on the opposite side. I don't know which one to vote for, but both of them said that was a great idea. So I said, all right, I put my 2 cents. So we'll see if they ever bring it up at one of the meetings or not. But worked out very, very, very well. So.
I tell you, I've come to the age where I'm not a big fan of fairs and that, yeah. But the thing that I just love about Farmers Day is seeing people that I haven't seen for a long time. Yeah. I find great joy in that chance to sit and talk with people. Yeah. I just love that.
There were 3 class reunion floats in the parade, and so people do come back for that, and so people are most. I was talking about Jesup history, and the railroad roundhouse used to be right up here at the end of the park. Did you know that?
Oh, I did not know that.
This was the end of track.
Yeah.
For a while, and so they came here and they had to turn the engine around so it could go back the other way.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. How interesting. When my father was Blake's age, a little younger, he would sweep the roundhouse out near Cottageville, West Virginia, at night.
Yeah.
And he would let the hobos of the time sleep in the roundhouse at night. Yeah. And then he would wake them before everybody else would come in the morning.
Yeah.
And get them out of there before the railroad detectives would come.
Yeah. My dad worked for the railroad a while, and he would carry these big blocks of ice into the box cars to ice down the vegetables and stuff. And then they got refrigerated cars, and so then he lost his job.
Right, yeah.
I can't imagine working 8 hours a day hauling those big chunks of ice. It's amazing the work people did back to the manual labor, just to keep things going.
Here's a question for you. Top 5 Farmers Day, Jesup Farmers Day sounds from this year.
Sounds?
Let me throw number 5 for you is young people screaming on the rides.
Yeah.
That's number 5.
Yeah, okay. I always like when the library does their bubble thing.
Oh, yeah.
The kids,
yeah.
you're talking about kids. That reminds me of all those kids squealing and running and the big bubble machine they have and everything. So that's always really nice. So that's a good sound.
Oh, that is a neat sound. Number 4 for me, the sound that the Wrangler potatoes make when the millers put it in the deep fat fryer is a beautiful sound, Dale. That's number 4.
Okay. You put the Alp horns in there. Was that a beautiful sound?
Yeah,
they were scheduled against me. I did not.
There's number 4 for you with the Alp horns. Okay. Number 3 for me was the gun blast by the Western people.
The Hole in the Sock Gang.
Hole in the Sock Gang. That was number 3.
Yeah. Those are pretty. Fire would shoot out of those things when they shot those blanks off. Quite thing. Okay, I like the Independence Don Bosco Band.
Okay.
And Mr. Makita is the director of that band, and he works at Don Bosco, but I think he lives in Independence, so they combine the two in some way. And so they've been in our parade, and then the first program on Saturday downtown is always the band concert, and it's just like an old-fashioned band concert. But today he played, or not today, but on Saturday when he played the Marine Corps hymn all the way through, and didn't have all those other branches in there, just played the Marine Corps hymn, and that was kind of nice just to hear it all the way through, and not just a little piece of it. So I did like that.
Number 2 for me was a tie. The trumpet sounds of Greg Dietrich and the upward sounds of Dave and Lisa Lang.
Yeah.
Although because they were going against people in the pavilion, our crowds weren't big, but the people that were there were very interested, and they enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was I think it's a man and wife, and I'm sorry I can't remember their names. They were country western. They had I think it was Saturday afternoon, and they were playing. They had an hour and a half show or whatever, and they do a wonderful job. But they said how they had started out over in the gazebo and passed the test, so now they were on the big stage in the pavilion. So I thought that was, Alan put us over there, but then we worked our way up, and now we're on the big stage. So that's pretty nice.
Cool. And the number 1 is a local act. I don't know if Mandy took Chet's married name or not, but it was the music of Chet Reagan and his recent bride, Reverend Mandy McCleary from the Methodist Church, as they sang many wonderful songs for us. So that was the number 1 sound for me.
Well, our 2 girls that we interviewed, Allison Brown and Allison Bovey, both of them sang in the talent show.
Okay.
And both of them did, I thought, an excellent job. They did not place, but they both were very, very, they did a really nice job, both of them. And so
wonderful.
It was the first 2 places went to kids who had already qualified for the state fair at some other contest. They were just here for the experience and the practice and maybe the money, I don't know. But they are both really very good.
I'll bet you they got as big a applause as anyone.
Oh, sure. And this one gal, I can see her winning the whole thing because she is just fantastic. She's a singer, and she's a little older. She must be towards the age limit, which I think is 18. I'm not sure. And she got a big voice and beautiful melodic tone. She's just a great singer, and so I'll be watching her to see how well she does at the state fair. So
it will be. I watched a lot. I watched young people. I used to do it when I would go to the Great Howard County Fair. I would go back and forth in the midway between carnival rides, with my friends, and we would walk and walk and walk for hours. And I watched young people from Jesup do that during Farmers Day, and I thought to myself, this great quote: "Not all of those that wander are lost." So,
Yeah, and it's nice just to look around. Listen,
yes.
My favorite, I went to the Fayette County Fair with a friend of mine. I don't know how we rode with his parents. We weren't able to drive on our own. But we were walking through the Midway, and they had this board with circles on it, and you had to throw nickels on it. And if your nickel landed on one of the circles, they gave you a quarter, five more nickels, you know. So we thought, this looks really easy. Well, we went through all our money and lost it all. And then someone had dropped a few nickels on the ground, so we picked those up and kept on trying, and we were dead broke. So that was the end of the fair for us. But it looked so easy, Jim. You just throw the nickel, and if it just was on so that's the county fair, my first real experience with the county fair. So, and how easy it is to lose your money. So.
My game was the cranes. Oh, yeah. The crane game, you know, you think you could pick anything up, and the crane would close before it pick anything.
I think I've seen one kid, and Perkins restaurants have those. All the Perkins have those kind of crane games. And I think in all the years I've been alive, I think I saw one kid one time get a little stuffed animal. And I don't know how much you put in there, but I'm sure the stuffed animal didn't cost nearly as much. Was quite a thing. But and it's amazing to me the number of people that were buying food and drink from the booths operated by the carnival people. Mm-hmm. They do all right too. So yeah. So, but anyway, I hope people had a good time at Farmers Day, and will continue to support it in the years to come. And they're already thinking about next year.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah,
I tell you, as I need for the community, I need to thank all the board members that are on the Jesup Farmers Day committee, like yourself, Alan, Mike. You know, I'm sure I'm leaving people off.
Kevin West and Don Quackenbush.
Kevin and Don.
And Doug Frush.
And Doug Frush. You know, you guys do a great job setting things up for us every year. Thank you so much.
We're hoping next year we can have like a snake ranch come in so people can see all the snakes and everything. So they're out there. You can find them.
Oh, yeah. That would be neat.
Yeah. People like snakes. They're afraid of them, but they're fascinated by them. See?
Well, thank you, Dale. This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Some of our sponsors include Reyes Concrete, the Littleton Lounge, the Third LLC, the Littleton Chatham Historical Society, Laces, Joe and Judy Olson, and the Independence Bulletin Journal. Please support our sponsors. They do a great job of supporting us and supporting Farmers Day as well. So, Dale, as we've started the Steve Brown Arts Center, I've watched and come to learn this. Artists are so underappreciated financially. Let me ask you this, Dale. Just is there a financial, our artists minimum wage workers, do they deserve $20 an hour? Is it $100 an hour? What would you say is the value of an artist per hour?
Well, I suppose it depends on what they're doing and what value what they're doing has. I have been to places where people have created a quilt. And you can tell that it took a lot of people, so it took hundreds of hours, and yet it's hard for them to get $50 for it. And it's probably, if you priced it by how much work went into it, it'd be like $500. And so it has to be, you have to create if you want to make money doing art, you have to create something that somebody wants and is willing to pay for it, and they can't get it anywhere else. And there's only one Mona Lisa, and it's worth millions of dollars.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people making little toy trucks and trying to sell them at farmers markets and this sort of thing, and so they're not selling a lot of them, and so they're fun to make and they're interesting to make, and they get a joy out of it, I'm sure. But there's not a lot of demand for toy trucks anymore, as far as I know. People are not playing with little wooden things very much, and so I don't know. Anyway, what do you have in mind here?
Well, I have a brief editorial for you.
Okay.
All right. Simply put, artists deserve to be compensated fairly for their work. They put their hearts and souls into their creations, and they should be rewarded for their efforts. So, if you need an artist for your next project, remember that you've got to shell out way more than pocket change because they have bills to pay too. It is realistic to make money as an artist, and as an artist there are many avenues that you can explore to monetize your talent. Allow yourself to be your own boss and spend your days doing what you love. Picture this: waking up every morning without dreading the day ahead because you are in charge of your day and what you do with it. The amount that artists are paid can vary depending on their skill level, location, years of experience, and the type of work they do. For example, as of March of 2024, the average hourly pay for an artist in the United States was $28.57, which isn't bad. But the majority of artists' wages range from $14.66 to $42.55. In California, the average hourly pay for an artist in June 2024, that was this month, was about $25.56, but salaries ranged from $10.68 to $54.56. That's in California now. Why artists are paid less, conversely, if creatives are underpaid, it can sometimes be attributed to factors such as delivering mediocre work or lack the necessary negotiation and marketing skills. Freelancers in particular may struggle with pricing their services appropriately or effectively communicating their worth to clients. This ends up the most common reason for quitting is the difficulty of making money. If you aren't getting paid, it is not worth the time and effort to keep going. A lot of artists end up with emotional issues. Artists can have a hard time coexisting with superficiality of the world and the lack of care for deeper exploration of human emotions and experiences. Further, loneliness and strained relationships with the world may push them further into a depressive state. Some artists sabotage their own work out of insecurity, neurosis, or to start over. In 1970, John Baldessari and 5 other artists burned all the paintings Baldessari had created between 1953 and 1966 in a bonfire. Most creative people need solitude and ample time to be with their art in order to maintain balance in their lives. There's so much flux in pricing depending on location, type of work, length of time, associations, fame, etc. An issue we see in ourselves is that we can be our own worst enemies when it comes to properly valuing our work. We often feel uncomfortable about pricing our art. Some artists just have a passion for freedom and untethered expression, characteristics that do not align with marriage. They may prefer multiple, less serious relationships through their lives. Others live alternative lifestyles, make it hard to form serious bond. Okay, so it is unique, Dale, as we work with our artists. You know, they're uncomfortable for asking a certain price.
Yeah,
and I find that tragic.
Well, and it was Nick, the guy from California.
Yeah, Nick Thomas.
Yeah, he talked about how he did art in the morning and in the evening, and he had a job in the daytime to pay the bills. And so, in order to do art, he had to work a regular job and then do his art on the sides. And I think that'd be a hard way to do it. But
well, that's the thing. Yeah. You know, and that's the dream of the Steve Brown Art Center, is to give them a place to live so they don't have to work a job like that. You know, maybe do house chores, but not go to Walmart and work a job.
Everybody has things they have to do just to stay alive.
Yeah,
you know, just to keep going, but outside their work. But it's really dedicated to what you're doing. I think to be an artist and trying to make a living doing art. Without, I guess, going commercial, is that what it's called?
I guess so. This is the Steve Brown Art Center Podcast Network. Other sponsors for us include Derek's Repair LLC, Derek's Hours There for us, Keith Bickert, Jacobson's Fabrication Repair. Donnie just constantly keeps doing stuff for us. Can't thank Donnie enough. Even Events and Rental, Thomas James LLC, Boyd's Food Truck, Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster we mentioned earlier on in the show, and Dream Chaser Acres. Dale, you said you had something about a pipeline tonight.
Well, I was going to talk. First of all, I was going to talk about, we think legislatures and legislators don't have much of a sense of humor, but there was an article last week, and it said that the Republicans in the House in Washington, D.C. have put some bills up. And one of them is they want to have a $500 bill with Trump's picture on it. and they want to name the Dulles International Airport the Trump International Airport. And I can't remember, it was some kind of federal land set aside in Florida they wanted to name for Trump. And so the Democrats got together and they made a bill, and there's a prison in Florida they want to name for Trump. So, okay, with all the trouble in the world, this is what they're messing with, But I thought, well, they know none of these bills are going to pass, but it's just the idea of doing it. So
this is taped. By the way, this show is taped the night before the debate between Presidents Trump and President Biden. So we will talk more about that next week.
It's just, is that something you're lined up to watch, or?
My plan is to be done with the day fast enough to watch it.
There's, I think, like Olympic gymnastic trials or something on at the same time, and my wife loves the gymnastics, so we may have to tape one or the other, I think. But it's almost like I feel very uncomfortable when people are arguing back and forth in front of me, and so even if they're on television, it still makes me uncomfortable. And so I don't know. I'd rather tape it and then read about it in the paper the next day. How did it go? And then go watch it if I want to. So I don't know if I'll watch it live or not, but I know I should. It's really different without an audience and without them being able to harp at each other. They're going to shut their mics off when it's the other guy's turn to talk.
Yeah.
And which has never been done before. And if you remember last year, or the last 4 years ago, when they debated, Biden actually told Trump to shut up. He said, "Oh, shut up, man." And he's talking to the President of the United States, and you usually don't talk to the President of the United States like that. But so hopefully they'll get away from something like that. But what gets me is that they're already the Hannity guy.
Sean Hannity.
Yeah, and all those guys in Fox News. Well, Biden is drinking lots of caffeine. He's going to be all juiced up, and this sort of thing. And then today, one of his advisors came out and said, well, that one of the interviewers is biased against Trump, and they're already making excuses. And I said, man, just let it happen and let the people judge instead of trying to control everything as far as what people think, or to come up with excuses why maybe you didn't do as well as you think or you thought you would, or I don't know. But I was always taught, if you make a mistake, you own up to it and try to do better the next time. And these people, they said, no, it wasn't. We lost because somebody cheated. We didn't do well because somebody was on the the unfair judge or what. They cover themselves before they even have the debate. So I don't know, but so I probably will watch it. But it does make me very uncomfortable to see people in front of me doing that sort of thing.
There's a great line I heard today. Some people can debate like Sophocles, and others can't find the debate stand.
Yeah.
I would fit right into the people that can't find the debate stand.
Yeah. Well, I always enjoyed arguing. My son Chris he likes to argue.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Gerhardt had him in class in high school, and he would say, geez, the guy, he would quibble about a grade for 25 minutes. Why he should have gotten a higher grade or whatever, why the question was slanted or whatever. And so I always thought, well, he'd make a great politician probably. But I always enjoyed getting into a good argument, and I love that feeling you get when you're like, sometimes I disagree with, like at church meetings with Don Quackenbush, we have a committee meeting, and we're trying to solve this problem at church. And so I make a big mistake. I spout out what I think first, and Dawn would say, "Well, yeah, that's right, but," and then she would give like a different reason why, and I'd think, "Oh yeah, I'm wrong again." That feeling you get when you're arguing, and then once you realize you're on the wrong side, it just overcomes. And you try. You say, okay,
I understand.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I see where you come from, and you're 100% right, and I wish I'd stayed home today.
That was a tough skill to teach as a teacher too, Dave.
Oh yeah. Sure.
To teach a student to say, I understand where Dale is coming from, and I like his idea. Mm-hmm. But and instead of saying "but," saying something else, and giving their side of the argument. Yeah. That's a tough skill. People aren't good at that, Dale. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, that is true. Well, this just real short about this. This is the Summit Carbon Solutions Pipeline, and they want to build this huge pipeline to carry carbon away from ethanol plants and put it underground. And I think it's either North Dakota or South. I think it's South Dakota. They have to get permission from South Dakota yet, and they've been in court, and not court yet, but they've been in front of this board in Iowa for a couple of years going at it. And this board, and I should have written down the name of the board, and I did not, approved them building the pipeline across Iowa and also using eminent domain to get land. If they want to go through my land and I say, no, I'm not signing off, then they say, well, then we're just taking it. That's eminent domain. And it's supposed to be the government doing it, like, we need this road. Here are the hundreds of reasons why we need this road from here to there, and we got to go right through your land, and so here's the fair value of the land, we're buying it, and that's, you go through the court procedure, and that's what happens. But this is a private company, and always it's been that a private company could not use eminent domain just to enrich themselves, and this is a $1 billion project. There's tons of money available and all kinds of federal kickbacks and this sort of thing for doing this sort of thing. And so there's billions of dollars involved, and so it's going to end up in court, of course, real quick. The Sierra Club already is after them about going to court, and so. But the thing got me is the Summit is the name of the business, the company. It's based in Ames, and it's owned by, this is the adjectives, owned by politically influential agribusiness millionaire Bruce Rastow, and he is a Governor Reynolds donor. And so, when it talked about this board, they said all the people on this board were appointed by Governor Reynolds to vote the way they voted. Mm-hmm. So, and first of all, a couple things. But if you're on a board, if you're appointed to a board, you should say, okay, this board is about this, and you should do your best job for the board, not because for the person who put you on the board. You should work with the board. And also, it just seems a shame to me that this is the only way to get things done is to put a lot of money into donations or whatever, and buy a board, it seems like, and get this done. So truthfully, I don't know if this is a wonderful project or if this is a real terrible project. Both sides have reasons why it's no good or why it's really good, but it just seems a shame to me that that's the way things have to get.
Okay, I'm interested, and I'll have to do a little research on this. How did they release the carbon underground? Is it is the pipeline like an irrigation pipe where it leaks out through those pipes, or
no? It's the carbon is captured from the making of the ethanol,
right?
And then it's liquefied and it's put under pressure and it's pushed through these pipes.
Okay.
And so all these pipes will then end up in South Dakota, where everything will be sealed underground. So all this carbon that's in the atmosphere, whatever, instead of being in the atmosphere with the global warming problem, will be buried underground, and so that will be cleaning up.
South Dakota.
Well, it's underground, yeah. All these things are good until something goes wrong.
Yes.
And they got all kinds of things. You must x-ray all the welds, and you must put a lot of pressure on this pipeline before you put anything in it to make sure that it doesn't leak and all this sort of thing. But we all know, everything leaks after a while. And so... Everything
unnatural is man-made.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just happened to notice that because it's been in the news on and off for a couple of years, and so they've gone one step further. But this is the first time. I always hate to say, this company wants to do this, and you think, no. But here they actually named the guy that owns the company, and so that to me is refreshing, because if I want to write a letter or something, I got a name to write to.
Yeah.
And so that's it. So that was all.
Well, thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. I have something from Agmandino. Super listener Katie Belvins and I were talking a little bit before I went on the air, and she was talking about the John Gordon stuff that I mentioned last week.
Okay.
And I had this in my files, and I wanted to share this. This is from the 9 Steps Success that I taught.
Okay.
This is step 1. Today I begin a new life. Today I'm born anew, and with my birthplace is a vineyard where there is fruit for all. Today I will savor the taste of grapes from these vines, and verily I will swallow the seed of success buried in each, and new life will sprout within me. Today I shed my old skin with hath too long suffered the bruises and failures and the wounds of mediocrity. The career I've chosen is laden with opportunity, yet it is fraught with heartbreak and despair, and the bodies of those who have failed, were they piled one step on top of another, would cast its shadow down upon all the pyramids of the earth. Yet I will not fail as the others, for in my hands I now hold the charts which will guide me through these perilous waters to shores which only yesterday seemed but a dream. Failure will no longer be my payment for my struggle. Just as nature made no provision for my body to tolerate pain, neither has it made any provision for my life to suffer failure. Failure, like pain, is alien to my life. I really like that. Mm-hmm. I really like that. Dale, I got to ask you this question, because you taught many years. When you would have a bad day at school, mm-hmm. was it because of a bad 5 minutes, or was it because of a bad day? Usually a bad day for me was because of a bad 5 minutes in one class.
Yeah, and I always said the worst days I had at school were the days I wasn't prepared, mm-hmm. as much as I should have, for one reason or another. But yeah, I can see where a few minutes can break. I mean, can really mess up a day. Yeah, and that's what you think about all the way home. And I handled that wrong. How can I amend this or whatever? But yeah, and those are the things you remember sometimes a lot more than any successes you had.
That's right.
They, because I remember kids I didn't do very well with, more so than some of the really, this kid really flourished under my tutelage.
Right.
And so, but apparently they're very forgiving, because you run into them as adults and they're very nice. And so maybe they didn't see it the same way I did, but.
It was amazing. The day would start at 7. We would start contractually usually 7:30 and end at 3:30. So what is that? 8 hours? Yeah. 8 hours, and usually those 8 hours, 7.5 hours of those were great hours.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. I mean, we had the best job, Dale.
Oh, I think it's the greatest job. It's you talk about the day be like 5 minutes to 3 or whenever, and somebody shows up at your door with us, tell so and so. I said no. I said I got 3,000 things. I can't do 3,001. I said give me a piece of paper and have it written, and I will hold it in my hand so to make sure that Johnny gets on the right bus or whatever. But just, oh man, yeah, because some days you just feel like I just cannot get one more piece of information today and handle it.
Yeah.
And but I have done where you forget, you got to write in your hand, and you say, oh, then you got to run down and find the kid. No, get on this bus, So I've had to do that. So, but, I kind of got into teaching accidentally more than any other way, but it was just a great way to live. I enjoyed almost all of it.
That segment by Agmandino, I tried to live by that every day, going back, and my job started new every day. Yeah. Because, like you said, students were incredibly forgiving.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
I mean, just remarkably forgiving, Dale.
And I think if you told them, especially, that you made a mistake or you did it wrong, or because if my kids did poorly on a test, I said it's my fault, because if I'd done my job right, more of you would have passed this.
Yeah.
And then you get, we had 22 kids, and 20 of them, like long division. You do all this for what month? Then they ace the test, and 2 kids go, I had no idea. Okay, why couldn't I get those 2?
Right.
So you beat yourself up about that. And so, but interesting work.
It was.
Yeah, and usually fun, because kids make you laugh more than anything. The stuff they come up with, and you say, I don't know how you came to that conclusion, and I guess it's okay, but I don't know.
We have a couple other things to talk about tonight here. We want to talk about Watermelon Day a little bit, and we want to wrap things up. So We are, as I said, 27 days away from Watermelon Day as of today. Here's the lineup for you, and many of my friends on Facebook put this out today. They were kind.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, they
retweeted it or whatever. I don't know. That's not the thing anymore.
No, they reposted.
Okay.
I'm not. It's not that either, Dale. Help us out here, Blake. What is that when on Facebook and you
send it on to somebody else or
share?
You share?
Yeah, share. Thank you. Many of them shared. A number of them.
What a tough word that is.
It is.
Couldn't come up with that. So.
But this is out on Facebook. It's going to be in the Bulletin Journal. It's going to be in the Shopper, in the Fayette County Shopper, and the Buchanan County Shopper. Mm-hmm. So look for this. The music lineup is the McBrides will play from 12:30 till 2 o'clock. Bell Bands and Powers, local guys, will play from 2 until 3. And the Bad Habits Band will play from 6 until 8 that night to wrap things up. Artists coming. We have 5 artists this year. Daryl Steege, a machine woodworker from Waverly's coming. Helen Hunter, a watercolor artist from Marion, is coming. She was there last year, sold a number of paintings. Adam Miller, an Amish flint napper.
Okay, yeah. I remember you said it before.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that. It's amazing.
It is.
It is.
And how I got associated with Adam Miller is through Tom Tidor, another flint napper, and so I wanted them both to come. They both make their own bows. They both make homemade knives, knives like the natives used to make years ago, the Choctaw natives, etc. And then John Casey, an oil base artist from Waterloo, is coming. Okay. So those are the artists. They will be showing from about 12 to 4 in Littleton Chatham Historical Society. And then the food vendors, are Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster, Boyd's Food Truck, and Totally Rolled Ice Cream, Northeast Iowa. Boyd's and Totally Rolled Ice Cream were both there last year. Mickey D's is a new addition this year.
I say about Mickey D's. They were Farmers Day. And I went and I said, like the lobster thing, I wanted to try it. And, they didn't have any. And so then Mike, he says, I decided not to spend all that money in order that I was afraid that I wouldn't sell it, and it's very expensive to buy lobster. And he said, but so many people have asked for it, he said, that I'm going to have it at the next venue I do. And so I don't know if this is the next one or not, but I hope he's able to do that because I wanted to try that. And but he said he chickened out, but he just got to thinking maybe this is not the place where he'd sell a lot of lobster. He said lots of people have asked for it. So anyway, hope he has it.
I do too. My heart goes out to them as Friday and Saturday were extremely hot, if you remember. And they don't have an air conditioner in their new wagon. They have a new wagon. And they said it was somewhere between 110 and 120 degrees in there.
I bet it was.
And they had 6 to 8 people constantly working. 2 would come out and sit in the back and have a water and rest for 15 minutes, and then another 2 would come out and they had that working well. Yeah. But I'm excited for adding them to Littleton Free Watermelon Day. We're giving away free watermelon from 1 till 2 o'clock, and then from 4 till 5 o'clock this year. We have games for kids from 3 till 4. And then we have mule rides provided from the Kittners from 1 until 3. And all of those, the watermelon, the mule rides, and the games are all free. Okay. Again, the sponsors include Littleton Lounge, Reyes Concrete, Littleton Chatham Historical Society, Jacobson's Fabrication Repair, Dream Chaser Acres, Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster, Keith Bickert, Laces, Thomas James LLC, Derek's Repair Shop, Even Events and Rental, and the Independence Bulletin Journal. So we look forward to seeing you there. We are 27 days away from that.
Getting close, isn't it?
It's coming. It's coming. Dale, become a hockey fan. We gotta get you out of here. It's been you've been blessed. Your son has had a great June of or your grandson has had a great June of baseball.
Doing real
Tell
well.
us about that a little bit.
Oh, well, it's just he dove for a ball in center field and hurt his left wrist, and so he can't really bat because the wrist is not broken or anything. But he is a pitcher, and so he has been able to pitch, and so he's got 3 games in a row now, full complete game shutouts, and so he's got 21, and I think he's about 25 consecutive scoreless innings he's pitched, and so he's doing just really, really well, having a great senior year, and so I'm real happy for him because he's doing just really, really well. So you can't find enough people to tell about, hey, this kid's doing really well, you know. And so I'm really proud of him, and it's just wonderful to see him. This is his last sport. He's played so many sports all through the year, but he graduated, in May, and so this baseball season's over. That's his last high school sport he'll ever participate in again, and so he's going out really, really well.
What a great memory he'll have.
Really, really great. So feel real good for him. So.
Yeah. I watched. I've never been a hockey fan.
Yeah,
I was sort of.
I've been to a couple, but never really got into it.
Yeah, well, I listened to a couple podcasts out of Miami. The Dan Lebitard show with Stugatz, and they are big Florida Panther fans. So when I started listening to them, I started following the Florida Panthers. And this year, the Florida Panthers made it last year to the finals and lost in the finals. But this year they made it again to the finals, got ahead 3-0 in the finals, and then lost 3 games in a row.
Yeah,
got outscored like 19-7.
Yeah.
In those 3 games, and everybody thought they were going to lose the finals after losing 3 in a row. Those of you that are hockey fans, they have perhaps the Michael Jordan. Everybody thinks Gretzky was the greatest hockey player of all time. I'm going to argue right now, Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers may be the greatest hockey player to ever skate. Some of his nicknames include Connor McJesus. I watch him, and he's in his 9th year. This was his 9th year. He's the fastest man on the ice. He's got the best hand-eye coordination on the ice. Okay. He's not just a scorer, he is an assist man. He's remarkable. Listener, former student Keegan Smith is an Edmonton Oilers fan, and we went back and forth a little bit during the NHL finals for Lord Stanley for the cup, and it just amazed me the skill of Connor McDavid, what he had. Night before last, the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup, and
which only proves global warming. So here, a team from Florida would be the ice hockey champions. Something's wrong there. Well, it doesn't even sound right.
The funniest thing is, they are from spot to spot, from Sunrise, Florida, to Edmonton. What is that, Alberta?
Ontario, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know.
They are 2,500 miles away from each other. It takes like right around 11 to 15 hours to get from one place to another.
So do they get travel days between games?
They do. They do.
Okay, yeah.
Just remarkable.
Yeah.
So. But I've become a hockey fan with that.
Well, you got to knock out your front teeth then. See those guys smile and so.
Well, I've lost a few back teeth in my life, Dale. If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for an event, go to the SteveBrownArtsCenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@stevebrownartscenter.org or call us at 319-290-0241 and leave a message. As always, Blake and Dale, thank you. I enjoy this so much, and thanks to our audience that listens. I'm Jim Gillespie with co-host Dale Rueber and our producer Blake Tempus. Thanks to Keller C. Haas for letting us use the Cowork 591 studios. Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your day, and remember, each day is about little victories.